The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Our next speaker delivered 2 million petitions to repeal Obamacare. Please welcome Restore America's Ken Hoagland.
Thank you. In case you missed it, on the other side of the Capitol, we delivered 2 million petitions from citizens across the country to repeal Obamacare, with a little help from Mike Huckabee. Can we have a round of applause for Jenny Beth Martin and the hard-working Tea Party patriots? Now I want you to remember a name, Bob Bauer. The next time Congressman Elijah Cummings said that the IRS abuse was just rogue agents, remember that name, Bob Bauer. Members of the media, please remember that name, Bob Bauer, B-A-U-E-R. He was the top lawyer for the Democratic National Committee. He was Senator Barack Obama's mentor. He was the White House counsel and then general counsel for the Obama-Biden campaign, and he sent memo after memo to the Justice Department, the IRS, and all interested parties, urging them to go after law-abiding citizens who wanted to end voter fraud, exercise their rights to stop an out-of-control government. This abuse of Americans was directed by Washington at the very highest levels of the Obama administration and campaign. Bob Bauer. No natural disaster or foreign enemy has hurt us as much as our own government. The economic collapse that still has 12 million Americans unemployed was caused by our government insisting first that every American must have a home, and then disastrously that no one should restrain the new trillion-dollar marketplace of toxic mortgages. We didn't do that. Our government did. Insult on top of injury then forced taxpayers to bail out the guilty parties. Did this decision have the most important element of our experiment in liberty? The thing that made us different from any other nation in the world or the history of the world? It's called consent of the governed. No, it did not. We did not consent to be spied on either. And it is our own leaders who are destroying the amendment the Founding Fathers wrote, remembering a king who swept up citizens and held secret hearings to condemn them. The true traitors are those self-important brutes in this building who dismantled that Fourth Amendment in secret without consent of the governed. Nor did the flawed new entitlement program called Obamacare have our approval. They did it anyway, without consent of the governed, and rammed it down our throats. That force feeding is just beginning, with the same woman who oversaw the Tea Party abuse now in charge of Obamacare at the IRS. It will get worse unless we rise up and do again what we did in the 2010 elections. Be the wild card that throws politics on its head and holds politicians on the left and the right accountable. We must repeal Obamacare, but that will not be enough. We will never stop the abuse of our citizens and our Constitution until we repeal the income tax and close the doors of the IRS forever. Never. Here today are people who are trying to tell you it can be done. True grassroots patriots who have labored in the shadows to try to get the country to listen to them about the fair tax. Fair taxers, stand up. This national consumption tax replaces the income tax and repeals the 16th Amendment so we can't have both. No single piece of legislation since the founding of the Republic would do so much to shift power from Washington to the individual citizen. They hate it here in Washington for good reason. It takes the power away from Washington. What can we do? Each and every one of us must now become Paul Revere. We must wake America up that our Constitution is in danger of being erased from within. Be patient with our opponents and love them as Barack Obama does not love us. They are not the enemy. They are misguided fellow citizens who will suffer right along with us when government controls everything and does it so poorly that liberty itself is extinguished. Stand and be counted. Be evangelists for freedom again. Our message is simple but profoundly important. Without consent of the governed, this is not America anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.